Da-da. Is it this one? How about now? Should be now. Yeah. Okay. So good morning. Good morning. Good morning. It is 5:30 in the morning. We had a little microphone issue there. For some reason the system defaulted back to a microphone that doesn't exist. And Rick and Pamela are in the chat, and they say that the horizontal stream is wonky, but everything looks normal on my end, so I don't know what they're seeing. Hopefully it's just a Thursday. But good morning, good morning, good morning. We are. Yeah, there's Claudia. Good. Wait, hey, Claudia's got a button. Hang on, I gotta push Claudia's button real quick. There you go, Claudia. Good afternoon, Claudia. Claudia's in the chat from the Netherlands. Rick and Pamela from the exotic state of Oklahoma. Today's random object from the Random Object Randomizer is a Petticoat palm tree. Petticoat palm trees are native to Cuba, and they're named Petticoat palm trees because the way their fronds never drop off their body. The fronds just dry out and droop down and cover their coat, cover their trunk like a coat, like a petticoat. And so they are thusly named Petticoat palm tree. Their scientific name, however, is Copernicia macroglossa, named after Copernicus. Copernicus, the professor that was responsible for the heliocentric theory of the Earth going around the sun. The botanist that named it Copernicia named it because the way the leaves grow around the plant. And macroglossia means fat tongue, which is what the leaves look like, fat tongues. And so there you have it, leaves that grow around in a circle. That name is way more descriptive than petticoat palm. Leaves that grow around in a circle around the center, and they're fat tongues. Who? No, petticoat palm, not pet poo, Claudia. Petticoat, like Petticoat Junction. That was a good show.
It was a good show.
If for no other reason than to see them swimming in the water tower. Oh, I was a sensitive lad. Subtle hint. Subtle hint. Make a comment. Claudia says make a comment. Subtle hint is make a comment. Thank you, Claudia. Yeah, these things are native to Cuba. They're not. They grow in. They'll grow basically wherever it's hot and humid. They love the hot and humid weather, so that you see them around Houston, but they don't really stand up to the winters here. It shocks me. One of my very first conversations in Spanish with a live Hispanohablante was an Uber driver, lovely woman. Her husband, she didn't speak hardly any English. Her husband was a truck driver in Oklahoma. It was in February. Her husband was a truck driver, and he was stranded in Oklahoma because of an ice storm. And we were talking about, and it was 80-something degrees. It was February in Houston. It was 80-something degrees. And her husband was stranded in an ice storm in Oklahoma. And all I could think was, I'm so happy I'm not in Oklahoma in an ice storm. And during the conversation, I asked her, how long had she been in the United States? And she'd been in the United States for 7 years. And she spent the first 5 years in Miami and then had moved to Houston. And I asked her how she liked Houston versus Miami versus Cuba, and of course she loves the United States way more than she liked it in Cuba. But she did not like Houston because it was cold, and that's 80-something degrees in February. And she did not like Houston because it was cold. And I thought, man, how can you consider Houston cold? It's 80-something degrees in February. Until you remember, it never gets below 90 in Cuba. rarely gets below 90 in Cuba. But it was a fun conversation. I remember what made it especially fun for me. It was my very first full-on conversation in Spanish. The whole conversation was in Spanish. I was very excited to be able to have an entire conversation in Spanish, and she was very patient with me. I didn't even try to make her speak English. I didn't even try to make her translate so that I could understand. I focused the whole time on speaking so that she could understand. And it was a great time. That was back during COVID. That was a long time ago. But having said all that, I told you all that to tell you about this plant. This plant does not do well outside of Miami and Cuba without special care because it is a very hot weather, high humidity plant. So it is basically just ornamental here. But in Cuba, it's known as jata. Jata. However they pronounce their J's. Because Cuban Spanish is different than Mexico Spanish or Spain Spanish or Ecuadorian Spanish. But it's known as jata, and they use these leaves. These leaves have a very waxy coating on them. They use these leaves for thatch roofs, boots, hats, anything to keep the water off of them. So they have many uses in Cuba, but here they're just ornamental. We may be on time this morning. There's a lot of detail, but it's easily captured detail. Buddy, is it still hot in the Netherlands, or did it cool off? Is it rainy? Pamela? Rick? How are things in Oklahoma? Is it stormy there? It's been nonstop rain here. It looks nice. You go outside, there's a lying patch of blue sky that makes you think that it's going to be okay to ride a motorcycle. But the rain is all day long, and my trip to work would have me stuck in traffic in the rain. So that's not exciting for me.
Well, it says, please blow the rain this way.
Are you guys having some drought issues?
It says, puppy path with no rain.
And I love those But I love those puffy clouds, Rick. It's beautiful sky. Yeah, you guys are in that part of the world where rain is not frequent this time of year.
Claudia says last hot day. They say tomorrow rain comes.
All right. Your daughter's birthday, Pamela. Did you have a good time? That was yesterday, right?
Changed to Tuesday.
Tuesday. Day before yesterday. You were recuperating yesterday. Did I miss a day? Did I lose a day? Is that what happened?
Probably so.
You know, it happens. I'd say it's early onset dementia, but at my age, it's not early onset anymore. I got the look from my daughter the other day. My stove turns off exactly the wrong way, and in a hurry, sometimes I forget to turn it off the right way. You turn it high to turn it off.
Yeah. That's just backwards.
Yeah. And it's easy to bump it and turn it back on. And I was in a hurry. I warmed my coffee up on the stove because my microwave is broken, and I can't get my wife to stay home long enough to go with me to go get a new microwave. But I left my coffee on the stove. I warmed my coffee up on the stove, and then I was in a hurry, and I turned my coffee off the wrong way, and I got the look from my daughter like, oh, okay, well, early onset dementia. We have to start thinking about where to put you. You can't be trusted. I'd argue with her, but I couldn't remember what to say.
Pamela says her daughter chose to spend her birthday alone. It was one of her days off, and she just wanted to chill.
I do that. You know, for the last several years, Pamela, on my birthday, how many years have I been doing that? I'd say at least 20 years. On my birthday, I go and get my hearing checked, get my vision checked, go get a physical from the doctor. I use that as an excuse to go see all the medical doctors, and then I sit at home and I read. I try to make a point to read. My guilty pleasure are books like Casca the Warrior, which is kind of a Tarzan type book. It's just gratuitous sex and violence, and I love it. And it's hey, did Joe sneak in? Good morning, Joe. But it's Casca the Warrior is like I don't know if it's Louis L'Amour. I don't think I've ever read a Louis L'Amour, but it's definitely like Tarzan. I have read a Tarzan book, and it's definitely like that. So that's a guilty pleasure of mine, and I can read one of those in an afternoon. And so on my birthday, I'll take the day off and I'll go to the doctor and spend the afternoon sipping rum and coke and reading trashy adventure novels.
Pamela says that would, and I lost the train of the conversation. So
she said it would be a nightmare for her.
Yeah, because she and her daughter don't touch me.
So going to the doctor would be a nightmare. Let me dry this real quick, and we'll add some color. Joe says he's read every Louis L'Amour. Are Louis L'Amour's trashy like Tarzan books? Are they full of violence and gratuitous sex? I've never read one. I probably
My
should.
dad used to read.
What?
My dad used to read them. He was a very, very, very fast reader.
Yeah, he taught me to read. He didn't. He's not the only person that taught me to read, but he taught me. He used to read the funny pages to me on Saturday mornings when we would go stay at Granny's house, Granny and Grandpa's house. Sunday mornings, Saturday mornings, he would read the funnies. He would read the comics to me, and when he would read to me, he would run his fingers under the words. So every word he was reading, his finger would go under the word. And occasionally he would pause and say, "What's that word?" And it didn't take very much of that before I was reading the comics to him, and that used to tickle him. Same way he used to try to coax girl too into saying "pretty baby." It used to tickle him to try to get us to do stuff. Species of this plant. So the macroglossa is just this one in particular, but it's also related to the Caranoaba. How do you say that? Wax. I'm not sure how to say that. Wax. Caranoaba, wax. There are versions of this plant that are harvested for the wax, but this one is mostly these days just harvested for the well, there's a glare right on my paper. Mostly just harvested for the aesthetic these days.
It says he spelled
Carnauba. Something like that. It's Carnauba.
He says he can't spell it.
I can spell it. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. It's one of those words I've never heard said. I can spell it because it's written here on my page. Doing on time. Oh, it's 5:52. We've got plenty of time.
Joe asked if it's like a Spanish word.
It is like a Spanish word, but that doesn't mean that that's how it's said anymore. Right? I mean, it's Caranaaba, Caranauba. That could be how it was said for thousands of years, but now that it's on the market in Wisconsin, it's Carnauba. Let me try this real quick and we'll ink it. I have no idea what we're doing this evening. I had plans forever. I made a list, and then my list ran out, and I haven't really made a new list. How about an aardvark? the point of the Thursday night show is to art with my besties.
Freaks that you would call it wax.
Yeah, let's just call it wax. Isn't it the lip gloss wax? Isn't it the wax that they use for comes in those little yellow or blue tins that you carry around in your pocket? Isn't that the wax we're talking about? We may have finished early today. Usually lately we've been going 10 minutes late. Yeah, exactly. Always heard it in Oklahoma as carnauba. Carnauba. So it could have been pronounced for thousands of years as Garnauba. Garnauba. Who knows? It may have been a native word before it was ever a Spanish word. It may have a completely different pronunciation. But I've never heard it said other than carnauba. But it's the same family. The wax, these waxy leaves are not the wax on these leaves are not as thick as the wax on those leaves, because you can harvest the wax off of those leaves. But these leaves are waxy enough that they use them for roof thatch, and they make boot coverings, and they make chaps, and they make hats, and they make coats. Anything that can protect them from the rain. What is today? 16th of July. Finally threw away that other pen. I dropped that other pen and the tip split, and this is not an expensive pen, so you can't just it costs more to replace the tip than it would just to throw it away and buy a new pen. So, but I have spares because I love that pen. This is a gun barrel 10. the metal it's with the lid on it, it's very sturdy. But I like that it writes better now. All right, so there is my Petticoat palm compared to the photograph. Let's see it from my perspective. Yeah, I love the accents. They're talking about oil in Oklahoma is Earl. Carnauba wax. Do they use carnauba wax and turtle wax? I never thought about that. There it is from my perspective. It's sad. We forgot the Vermilion. I probably should. You know what? Just for Pamela. I can't let Pamela have a day without Vermilion. That just wouldn't be right. And look at what it did. Let's try that again. All right, I don't know. Can you see that versus that? Can you see the difference? I see the difference. So there it is from my perspective with Vermilion. So that's what I did this morning. tomorrow, what do we have tomorrow? Oh, it's an Easter egg. The suspense. Pamela feels much better now. Good, Pamela. I feel better. It should have had Vermilion to begin with. Oh, here we go. There we go. A strawberry dart frog in mating season. That is a strawberry dart frog, and the funny thing about strawberry dart frogs is that this is a strawberry poison dart frog, and the funny thing about it is they inherited the dart frog name because of their relationship to the other dart frogs. But dart frogs are 3 countries away. These things have never been used. The toxin in the skin of these things has never been used, to our knowledge, has never been used in darts. So this is not really a dart frog, but it's still toxic, and the coloration changes over its wide range of forest floor. Its coloration changes based on predatory action. But we'll talk about that and more fun strawberry dart frog facts tomorrow morning at 5:30 a.m. Texas time. So you're going to want to set your alarm, set your notification bell so you don't miss that. That's going to be a bit more intricate than a petticoat palm for sure. So guys, thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. I look forward to it every day when I get to art with my besties. I truly do. Run down the stairs every morning so I can spend time with you guys. Drawing holds me accountable to my art practice, and is often the only art I get to do every day. Joe, Rick, Pamela, thank you guys so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. Mom, Dad, thank you so much for your help. And be sure and tune in tomorrow. Same Artistic Biker time, same Artistic Biker channel. And then we dance. We dance until somebody says, oh, and Claudia. I almost forgot about Claudia. Claudia's been quiet this morning. I almost forgot to say thank you and hello to Claudia. But then we dance. We dance until somebody says, isn't it funny that it was the dancing that reminded me of Claudia? Because Claudia and I need to dance together. Well, I need to go to the Netherlands and I need to dance with Claudia. I think that would be fun. Anyway, we dance until somebody says they see me dancing, because that is how we make sure that I don't get cut off mid-sentence. The lag is caught up with the stream. It gives you a chance to click clicky thingies, and it gives everybody a chance to say hello and goodbye to each other. But the most important thing is to make sure that I don't get cut off mid-sentence, because being cut